and welcome to the Unsure to Unstoppable podcast. My name is James Dunn, and I was adopted. I grew up in a household with an alcoholic father, and I was arrested for attempted armed robbery when I was 17 years old. Why do I share that with you in this podcast introduction? Well, because while you may not have gone through any one of those specific set of circumstances yourself, you've had your own version of them, whether it's a loss of a job, a divorce, you were picked on as a kid. Something in your life has created this little voice in the back of your head that's made you doubt yourself, question yourself and what you're truly capable of. As a podcast host and as a mindset coach, what I do is I help you tell that little voice in the back of your head to shut the fuck up, get out of your own way, and move from unsure to unstoppable. And how I plan to do that is each week I'm going to bring you stories of inspiration, motivation, my own challenges, my own struggles, as well as those of others who've gone through challenging times, rough times, things that most people maybe just didn't think they could ever get through, but have not only gone through them, but come out thriving on the other side of them. And through the sharing of those stories, I hope to help you see that you're not alone in this journey called life. Whatever you've gone through, whatever challenges you're having right now, it doesn't matter. You are a fucking badass and you deserve an amazing, incredible life, and we're going to help you get there. So with that, enjoy today's show. Hello, and welcome back to the show. All right, on today's episode, I want to ask you, is good enough? And more specifically, have you gotten comfortable with just being good when the opportunity is there to be great? So how this came up for me, and you may not be an NFL fan, but for me specifically, I noticed this recently by watching my favorite football team. So if you know me personally, if you know me for any length of time whatsoever, my all-time favorite football team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, if you're not an NFL fan, stick with me. This is going to be a lesson that you can apply to your life, whether you love football, whether you love soccer, quote unquote football, baseball, whether you don't love sports at all, any of that, this applies to you and your life. And there'll be lessons or examples I'm going to share as we go along. But let me just share with you how this all came about. So as I'm recording this episode, the NFL season is winding down. Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, are just above 500. They're like 8-7, I think, right now. They got 2 more games in the season. Again, as I'm recording this, it's right, literally New Year's Eve when I'm recording this. I have no idea when this episode will release, other than somewhere probably in January, 1st of February. So who knows, man? Maybe by then they'll be rocking into the Super Bowl. I doubt it, but right now they're 8-7. And I share that with you because they're not very good. They've not looked good all year. They've had little flashes here, little flashes there, but outside of that, it's been very meh. But they're still right there, just above that 500 line. What's so important about that line is the fact that our current head coach, I think he's been there for 16, 17 years, something like that. He's never had a losing season. And hopefully, that continues. Hopefully we continue to uphold that winning record, streak of his. I think literally Pittsburgh now has 20 straight seasons with a above 500 record, which is fucking awesome. It's the longest streak in NFL history. It's very cool, but it's not fucking great, man. It's not greatness. We haven't won. Well, we've won 1 Super Bowl in that time, which if you're a fan of football, Super Bowl is the epitome of what these people are striving for. It's the main goal every season. They're trying to get a Super Bowl win. They're trying to get that greatness to be the best of the best of the best. That's what they want. But Pittsburgh's only gotten 1 Super Bowl, even though they've had 20 straight winning seasons. They've only had 1 Super Bowl. And people look at our head coach and say, hey, man, this guy's an awesome coach. He's amazing. He's never had a losing season, which is great. Granted, I'm not going to belittle that fact, knock that down at all. But I keep saying but so damn much. But anyway, that's my point is I feel almost like as a team, they've settled for being good and not great. It's, well, we're not losing. We're not losing enough to have the losing season. So we're still pretty good, but it's not pushing themselves to get to a level of greatness. So I want to ask you, have you settled for just being good when life can be great? Because good is the enemy of greatness. When you just decide, well, life's good, I mean, somebody, you see somebody on the streets, you haven't talked to in a little while, and you say, hey, how's life? Oh, it's good. Does that fill you with excitement? Does that fill you with enthusiasm? Do you think that life is like, wow, holy crap? I mean, are you wishing that you were that person? Do you wish that you had that life? Fuck no. But if somebody says, hey man, life's great, and you can feel that, in them, that they are telling you the truth, that life truly is great, then you're like, okay, wow, what's this guy got going on? What's this girl got going on in their life, that life is great for them? I want a little piece of that. I need to find out what I can do to be more like them. I don't need to be them, but find out what's so great in their life and see what I can do to apply that to my life and make it great as well. Because there's nothing wrong with good, nothing wrong with it at all. But if you know that you want more, if you feel like you deserve more, I think you are worthy of more without question than just living a quote unquote good life. Then we have to really dig in. And what I've shared here recently is be committed to that great life. One of the things I have seen over and over, and here's where this gets off of football, all off of, any sports related situations at all, is people being comfortable in their misery and saying life is good. So they're not happy with their lives. They don't love the job that they're in. They don't love the relationship that they're in. They've got so many circumstances in their life that they're not excited about, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And this is where it kind of relates to that whole Pittsburgh Steelers thing, is like, they're not great, but they're not sucking. I mean, we've not had this season where we've only had 2 wins or whatever, but is that really what the fuck you want in life? Do you really want to work at a job? It's like, well, it's not the best thing in the world, but I don't fucking hate it. I don't wake up every day just thinking this is the absolute shittiest place in life. It's not like I'm digging ditches, out in the cold winter. It's not like I'm in the blazing heat in the middle of the desert, or it's not like whatever, this super hard manual labor where I have to lift heavy things all the time. I get to work in an office, it's air conditioned, and the people there, I mean, they only gossip a little bit. I mean, is that really what the fuck you want in life? Or do you want a great life? Do you want something where you wake up every single day excited and you're looking forward to what it is that you're doing? Now, obviously, I say every day, you're not going to do it every single day, but you're at least going to be excited about the path that you're on, and know that maybe there's some struggles along the way, but it's like, you know what, this is all fucking worth it, because this is my dream. This is my goal. This is what I love doing. This is what I want to be doing. This is how I want to be spending my time. So when you surround yourself with people who are willing to settle for less than what they know they deserve, when they're willing to settle for what they're truly capable of, you're going to find yourself in that same situation, holding on to that belief if you're not really careful. I ran into this multiple times throughout my employment career. One that I can think of very specifically was one that's partially sparked me leaving a job. Manager that I had at the time, he and I did not get along at all. He just had a certain way that he wanted to run business. I had a certain way that I thought business should be run. It was opposing views. And now, obviously, if he's my manager, I need to support him, support his decisions. It just wasn't working for me, though. And he called me into his office one day, sat me down, and we had a nice little chat. And he said, James, I don't know what's going on with you, man. I don't know what you're doing here. But listen, I've just got 4 more years until I retire. I just want to fly under the radar, get through these 4 years, and then retire. I just want to live my life comfortably after that. And it was one of those moments that I knew, I knew it before, but that solidified. I was in the wrong fucking place. There was no way I needed to be in that place, working every day, being around somebody like that, because they were willing to settle for flying under the fucking radar and just trying to not poke their heads up above and gain any attention, not to do anything great, not to try anything challenging. I just want to slide on out of here, sneaking out the fucking back door. Fuck that shit, man. That's not what my life's about. And I'm not talking about you have to go out and be famous or super rich or whatever, but at least having a passion for life, having this excitement about what it is that you're doing, and doing that every single day, looking for some goal that means something to you, that you love doing. I just can't really express enough something that you love, that you're excited about, that you're passionate about. That's what life's supposed to be about, not flying under the fucking radar, not trying to hide out so nobody sees what you're doing, not worrying about making some mistake that somebody's going to get upset about. And oh, darn, I might get in a little bit of fucking trouble. Again, I'm not asking you to go out and get in trouble, but at least find something you're passionate about. Find something that lights you up and that you want to be doing. Another situation that I found myself in was working around a group of people that focused solely on what the corporate numbers were saying in terms of like sales revenue or metrics like that, that had nothing to do with the internal environment of the workspace. And so you would see that all the focus was on, hey, we got to hit these sales numbers, or we got to hit these other numbers that, these metrics that corporate wants us to measure, that had nothing to do with how we operated inside that building on a day-to-day basis. And you would see the standards in all these other areas, like the cleanliness was just fucking shit. Nobody gave a fuck about what things look like. If the office was trashed, people just piled things here, there, wherever, left food stuff sitting around, whatever. And when you allow yourself to live in that environment and be around people who are not willing to take care of themselves, take care of their environment, to push themselves, challenge themselves, to look beyond necessarily what the measurements are of a corporate entity, somebody who's hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, who's only looking at the bottom line, you're going to fall prey to the way they think, their attitudes, their habits, their beliefs, and you're settling for a life that is so much less than what you deserve and that I know that you want. Don't get caught up in this belief that good is good enough. Figure out what you want. And so I'm going to circle back to what I said before. It doesn't have to be riches. It doesn't have to be fame. It doesn't have to be anything. I just recently asked people, a few people what their goal was for the new year as we're, in this early part of the year. And a person told me, I just want to be the best me that I can be. And I think that's a fucking amazing goal. It's not measurable. So it's kind of hard to say, well, what's the best you? But at least they know their vision of who they want to be. And that's what they're striving for. And whatever that looks like for them, awesome, cool. But find what that is for you. Is that you have a business that you want to hit a certain milestone in terms of sales? Is that a relationship that you want to have certain experiences every week? Like, do you want to have a date night with your wife, your husband, your whatever, your significant other? Do you want to have, family travel plans that you take every so often? If you have whatever in your life, what are the markers that you want to have that you look at and say, man, this is a great fucking life? Because to me, one of the worst things that can ever happen is when you get to the end of your life, and you hear about this all too often, people get to the end of their life and they're living in, with regret over the things that they could have done, the life they could have lived. One of the biggest regrets of the dying is not going for their dreams, not trusting themselves, not believing themselves enough to go after what they truly wanted. They followed the expectations of what their parents said they should do, what society said they would do or should do, and did not follow what they wanted to do. And that's not what I want to happen for you. What I want to happen for you is I want you to create the life that you want to live. I want you to decide, this is my vision of an amazing, incredible life. And that might be working at a 9-to-5. That might be owning your own business. That might be being single. That might be being married. There's no right or wrong. There's only what you decide, but you've got to get that clarity. You've got to figure out for yourself what is really calling you. If you sit down and take the time, and this is a big piece of it too, is sit down to take the time to truly lean into, what do I want? And ask yourself, why do I want this? Is it because my parents said I should want it? Is it because society says I should want it? Or is it because this is what I truly want? If I were able to start my life all over again, fresh, where nobody knew me, where I had zero expectations from me, what would I want to do? What would make me excited? And once you got that vision, go for it. Make that your great, amazing life, and incredible life. Don't settle for good, because good is the enemy of great. and you deserve greatness, my friend. So really, 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 really dig into that. And yeah, I think I'll keep it short and sweet today. But until then, till the next episode. Oh, I keep doing this. I keep wanting to cut off before I share with you. If you're on your path to greatness, if you have this belief in you, and if you're listening to this podcast, you better have that fucking belief in you, or you better go back and listen to some more episodes until you find it. But find that greatness inside yourself, that belief inside of yourself. And if you're ready to take it to that next level, if you know that this is the time, this is your day to make this happen for you, reach out to me on social media, shoot me a DM with the word Amplify in it, or just check the show notes here. I'm going to have a link to the application process. But Amplify is a new program that I'm running. If you get in on this particular round of it, great. It might be a situation where I put you into, the waiting list for the next round, but reach out to me. Let's get this conversation started. Amplify. We're going to crank up the volume on your inner rock star. We're going to silence the critic. We're going to get that little voice out of your fucking head that's keeping you from living that great life that you want to live, that amazing life that you want to live, the life that you know you deserve, that deep down, when you let go of all the stories that you've told yourself, that you can have that fit body, you can have that financial independence, that you can have that relationship, that loving, caring relationship that you want. You can have the career that you want, whether that be inside someone else's business or whether that be owning your own business. You can finally live that life that you want to live. I'm here for you. I want to make that happen for you. But reach out to me. Send me a DM with Amplify in it, or click the link in the show notes to apply straight through there. And let's make that happen for you this year. But until then, get out there. Have an amazing fucking day, and I'll see you next time. If you found value in this episode, please share it with your friends. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and anywhere else that you happen to hear it. We are just trying to celebrate life, make it better for everyone, and sharing these messages with them just helps them believe in themselves and what can be better than that.